To Wyong Hospital. Now, Wyong Hospital on the central coast of New South Wales is one that I spent a lot of time talking about at the end of last year because of this little girl. Lorelei Bell Chambers is her name, and we raised $40,000 at the end of last year because there is a very tough road to hoe for her because she was involved in a car accident where she broke her neck. The injury was similar to that of a hangman's break, which should kill you, but thankfully it didn't. But Wyong Hospital decided not to give a scan to that little girl. Instead, they sent her home. A couple of days later, her worried parents brought her back, and then, of course, she was instantly sent to a better hospital and then ultimately went to a place where she has been taken care of. She can now walk, and I'm pleased to say tonight she's not wearing that halo that she was wearing at the end of last year. So anything to do with Wyong Hospital is always on my radar, and this is disgraceful. Imagine if you were a hospital that cries poor all the time, that has judgment like the one that I've just spoken about, not to mention a whole bunch of other stuff that you can go and see in local news forums. But they were offered, how's this? Well, they've said, among other things, that not enough nurses, lengthy wait times at Wyong Hospital. So what did they do? They snubbed a multi-million-dollar donation. Why? Because they were going to get a $15 million pledge from a coal company. The hospital decided to knock it back because of the possible public backlash and fears of potential health effects from the project. Seriously, you cry poor, you've got incredible bad publicity because of your own disgraceful decisions, and without the public even knowing the donation had happened, you had rejected it? That's the bureaucrats making the decisions, which is why we look to ministers to help to ready the ship, to keep some common sense in place. Alas, in New South Wales, the Health Minister is Brad Hazzard, and he said this to Ray Hadley.
I did raise this issue when it came across my desk back late last year, and I raised with the board why that was the case, because it wasn't something which perhaps I would have agreed with, but I also recognise that the local health district and the board is independent under the legislation, so I walk a fine line on these sorts of topics. Sure. And I'm not sure that...
Overrule the minister. It's a local business that employs locals, that pays tax to your state government. State government money that, by the way, through their mining royalties, helps pay for the hospital in the first place. They're offering an extra $14 million on top of it, and they've rejected it. What is wrong with this scenario, apart from the minister and the bureaucrats at the hospital? Of course, just like they did with Lorelei, they just hope this story goes away. But just like with Lorelei, we're not going to let it go away. Plenty more where this comes from.